You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 29th day of December, 2025. Hope you had a great holiday, Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, a cool Kwanzaa, whatever it is you and family celebrates in your household. But we're just glad to have you right here. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First broadcast is our live training room. That one is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1 week free. If you have not yet taken your 1 week free trial, Michael joins us in about an hour. He'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take you about 3 minutes. Get your indicators up and indicating today. The trial will officially begin tomorrow. And because of the holiday, we'll probably let it run all the way through next week. Never been a better time to take advantage of the free trial. There's no credit card required. We want you focused on what's being taught so that at the end of your trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Take the trial, you gain access to the live training room. You also gain access to everything we offer. In fact, we treat you like you are already a member, a bona fide passport holder. 5 consecutive trading days. Get a chance to experience everything we do. And again, I want you to be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision at the end of the trial. What we do is right for you. So stick around at the top of the hour. Michael will walk you through the steps a couple of times. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break, and then we come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth, internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link, 12 noon Eastern. All you have to do is just click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. Benefit there is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, 30 days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. Well, you can do both of those via our YouTube channel, and it's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day by day. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. It is a great resource to have at your fingertips. Again, it allows you to see how we got from started to where we are now. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen, that's our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. We'll start where we always do with our daily devotional. And we're starting a new topic today, power of God's blessing. Today's scripture is Genesis 5, verses 1 to 2. And I'm sharing it with you from the NIV translation. This is the written account of Adam's family line. God created mankind, made them in the likeness of God, created them male and female, and blessed them. And he named them mankind. Again, Genesis 5, verses 2. The first blessing. Genesis 1:28. And God blessed them and said to them, fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the first chapter of the first book in the Bible, Genesis. We read about the creation of everything that lives. God created man. He wanted man to be like him. Genesis 1:26. He has always remained connected to everything he created, but he longed for a personal relationship with man. God blessed the animals he created, Genesis 1:22. He left the first humans with an additional blessing and commissioned them to have dominion over his creation, Genesis 1:8. Now it's a blessing is to express the wish that things go well for something or someone. God's blessings express his deep love for his creation. It shows his desire that everything he created flourish and that all forms of life continue to develop. Thus, the earth would be filled with God's greatness. His blessings run throughout the book of Genesis. It's fundamental to our lives. Under God's blessing, all life blossoms. Man was established on earth, blessed by God. What does that tell you? Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for each and every blessing in our life. It's at this time of year that we take a pause to truly reflect on our life, every blessing that you've bestowed upon us. Some we see, some we don't see. Because we know that you're always at work behind the scenes. Today, Lord, we want you to know that we're thankful for each and every blessing, seen and the unseen. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said. And let me give you the numbers from around the world. A lot going on out there. Not real pretty. But that's the truth about trading. Data to load. Start here in the U.S. Cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow is down 277 points. NASDAQ down 171 points. S&P 500 down 35. Russell 2000 down 14. In the commodity basket, oil up $1.27. Take that $1.29. Trading 58.03 last. That's a gain of almost 2.5%. Gold, on the other hand, down $194.60. Trading 43.58 last. It's a drop of over 1%. Silver down $5.18. $72 last. That's a drop of almost 7%. Asian markets at the close. Nikkei fell 220. Shanghai rose almost 2 points. The Hang Seng dropped 100. And the European markets at the close. FTSE down 4. The DAX up 24. CAC up 8. So we had a mixed day in Asia. Mixed day for the UK. It's a big red Radio Monday here in the survey. Let's take a look at the global news. FBI Director Kash Patel said yesterday the agency was reallocating resources to Minnesota to continue investigating allegations of widespread fraud linked to federally funded programs. Update came after investigative YouTuber Nick Shirley last week released a 42-minute documentary visiting the addresses of daycare centers, adult home care companies, and other businesses. Many appeared to be inactive despite claiming millions of dollars in state distributed taxpayer funds, including from the Education Department and Medicaid. In yesterday's announcement, Patel noted the FBI's work dismantling a $250 million scheme siphon pandemic-era food assistance via the Feeding Our Future network. The amount of stolen taxpayer money from the food aid scheme reportedly exceeds $1 billion. That's just the tip of the iceberg. More than 90 people have been indicted and more than 50 convicted to date, many of them of Somali descent. Governor Tim Walz, of course, has blamed President Donald Trump for it all, and has said that Trump's language towards Somali Americans in Minnesota is just not acceptable. Has sought to defend his administration, which oversaw the distribution of the funds. Yeah, there's no way Walz comes out of this looking good. On an even sadder note, French actress Brigitte Bardot. Our audience is a generation that remembers. She passed yesterday at the age of 91. Former sex symbol was hospitalized last month. No cause of death was given. Bardot's breakout role came in 1956, when at the age of 23, she starred in a film called God Created Woman, directed by her then husband, Gervais. Bardot would go on to act in more than a dozen films, including The Bride is Much Too Beautiful, 6, Bet Goes to War in 1959, Vixen in 1969. Some films involve nudity, and one, Viva Maria, in 1965, earned her a BAFTA nomination, Best Foreign Actress. She became the first celebrity whose facial features inspired Marianne France's national symbol. After retiring from acting, Bardot founded an animal rights organization. She was convicted and fined multiple times for inciting racial hatred, largely for comments criticizing Muslim approaches to slaughter rituals. She became an outspoken supporter of France's National Front, now called the National Rally, marrying an advisor to national populist leader Jean-Marie. Our thoughts and prayers. Turning to the Midwest, tens of millions of people across the upper Midwest are under winter weather alerts as an Arctic storm swept down from Canada yesterday. Residents around the Great Lakes are expected to see near hurricane force winds, blizzard conditions through today. Some areas on track for up to snow, mile-per-hour wind gusts. Arrival of the Arctic blast came on the busiest travel day of an estimated 2.8 million air travelers returning home after the holiday. As of this writing, more than 3,200 flights have been delayed and another 350 canceled. Driven by a bomb cyclone weather pattern, temperatures will stay below average throughout much of the week. Despite the frigid conditions, last week saw unseasonably elevated temperatures. The contiguous United States notching the warmest Christmas day on record, average high of nearly 8 degrees. 70s here. Arizona. Turning to the Wall Street news. Reuters. Since President Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariffs pushed the U.S. bond market into revolt in April, his administration has carefully tailored its policies and messaging to prevent another flare-up. Truce remains fragile. Reminder of the fragility came on November 5th. The Treasury Department signaled it was considering selling more long-term debt. The same day, the Supreme Court began hearing arguments over the legality of Trump's sweeping trade tariffs. Benchmark 10-year bond yields, which have fallen steeply this year, spiked more than 6 basis points, biggest jumps in recent months. Market already uneasy about the size of the U.S. federal deficit. Treasury proposal stirred fears among some investors, upward pressure on long-dated bond yields. The Supreme Court case, meanwhile, raised doubts about a major source of revenue to service the trillion-dollar pile of government debt. Citigroup analyst Edward Acton called the moment a reality check. Yeah. Mortgage rates and slowing price growth pushed pending home sales up 3.3% in November, largest jump in contract signings since early 2023. As even modest signs of cooling in the U.S. housing market brought buyers to the table. Today's report from the National Association of Realtors showed November's jump from the prior month, outpacing a 0.9% increase that economists expected. Compared with a year earlier, contract activity is up 2.6%. All regions of the country saw an uptick in homes going under contract last month, West showing the biggest month-over-month gain at 9.0%. NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun said in a statement, "Home buyer is building. Improving housing affordability driven by lower mortgage rates and wage growth rising faster than home prices is helping buyers test the market," he said. Inventory choices compared to last year are also attracting more buyers to the market. Usually go under contract a month or two before they're sold, making pending home sales a leading indicator of activity. Bloomberg at big banks and the boutique investment shops. An optimistic consensus has taken hold. The U.S. stock market rally will rally in 2026 for a fourth straight year, marking the longest winning streak in nearly 2 decades. That's if it comes to pass. There's plenty of angst about the risks to the bull run that's pushed the S&P 500 index up some 90% since its October 22nd low. Artificial intelligence boom, bust, the economy, and the Federal Reserve's interest rate decisions could defy expectations. President Donald Trump's second year, more unanticipated shocks than his first. Silver and gold futures fell sharply today after the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, one of the world's largest trading floors for commodities, asked traders to put up more cash to make trades on the precious metals prices surging this year. This year, gold futures are up 65% and silver has more than doubled. And then came today. The CME raised margin requirements for gold, silver, and other metals in a notice posted to the exchange's website on Friday. These notices require traders to put up more cash on their trades in order to insure against the possibility that the trader will default when they take delivery of the contract. Exchanges sometimes boost margin requirements when a commodity or other security goes on a significant run. In its notice, the CME said it was raising margin requirements for normal review of volatility. Silver futures tumbled as much as 8% today, and gold slid 5%. Silver prices have skyrocketed this year, topping records dating back to the early 1980s, when the Hunt brothers tried and failed to corner the silver market. Supplies have dwindled, production at major mines slowing. At the same time, there's been an increased industrial need for silver, solar panels, as well as data centers. Oil reversed Friday's decline as the U.S. led talks to end Russia's war in Ukraine failed to yield, and China vowed to support growth next year. West Texas Intermediate topped $58 a barrel, while Brent neared $62. The U.S. has stepped up a push to end the war. Sticking points remain, highlighting the difficulty in reaching a deal. President Trump said he made progress in talks on Sunday with Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago. Zelensky said he asked Trump for 30 to 50 years of security guarantees, an end to the conflict, allow Russian barrels into an already oversupplied Iran state TV report the central bank governor has resigned as the currency hit a dollar. Iran's rial slid further today, record low of more than 1.3 million to the US dollar, deepening the currency's collapse less than 2 weeks after it first breached the 1.2 million mark amid sanctions pressure and regional tensions. Currency traders in Tehran quoted the dollar above 1.3 million rials, underscoring the speed of the decline since December 3rd. Rial hit what was then a historic low. Rapid depreciation is compounding inflationary pressures, pushing up prices for food and other daily necessities and further straining household budgets, a trend that could be intensified by a gasoline price change introduced in recent days. And in other news, the year draws to a close. Fox News Channel once again dominated its cable news competition, challenged broadcast networks for ratings supremacy. Leading the way, Fox News' popular 5 p.m. show, The Five, claimed the top spot. Consecutive 5 averaged 4.1 million viewers in 2025. This year marked the show's best performance since its launch in 2011. The show features hosts Greg Gutfeld, Dana Perino, Jesse Waters, Jessica Tarlov, and Harold Ford Jr., along with rotating guests, discuss the day's top news stories. Not only did The Five trounce other cable news shows, but also beat broadcast programs like CBS's Hollywood Squares and The Neighborhood, and ABC's Wants to Be. Overall, Fox delivered its highest ratings in a non-election year in the channel's history. Marked the network's second best year ever, an average of 3.2 million weekday primetime viewers. And rivaling ABC and CBS even though those networks are more widely available because they're free. All you need is an antenna hooked up to TV. Throughout the week, average primetime viewership on Fox News and 718,000 viewers, a 14% increase over, according to Nielsen data. Change is inevitable in Venezuela and Nicaragua soon follow. Millions of Venezuelans, Cubans, and Nicaraguans living in South Florida. The question is no longer whether change will come to their homelands, when and at what cost. The United States pressure intensifies on Nicolas Maduro. Potential collapse of one regime could reshape the future of all three. U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean has exposed Venezuela's role in the drug trade, contributing 100,000 American deaths annually since 2020. But at minimum, Cuba is an enabler, providing thousands of intelligence, military, and other security advisors to Venezuela and despot Daniel Ortega's government in Nicaragua. Cuba also exports its doctors to Venezuela and other countries, selling their services, also known as modern-day slavery, billions of dollars in foreign exchange. As brought to light in recent days, with the U.S. seizure of a sanctioned tanker on its way to Cuba, Venezuela also sends cheap oil to its two allies, those regimes in power. Three regimes under a banner of faux socialism are actually a criminal alliance of entitled groups of civilian and military elite profiting there. All right, let's take a look at Logic 247. Find this year down. Logic 247 is our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude and silver. In week 387, over the last 387 weeks, issued 21,100 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. She'll, of course, update it this afternoon, evening, as she does each and every day. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 15 alerts. Time Valerie did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 8. That gave us 6 actionable alerts, of which 17% would have been stopped out, again based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Last week we hit 20% right on the nose, and the week prior to that, I think, percent. Only one stop out. That was an unusual week. Again, the average over the last 7+ years, 20% or less on a weekly basis. The purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. I know everybody can read a chart. Nothing to read as we understand the word in reading a newspaper or words, sentences, paragraphs. It's a whole different language. And not only do you need to be able to read the chart, but you need to understand what it's telling you. And it's telling you a lot. Just got to know how to read. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, an initial target designed to help get a typically additional targets, and then a final two target. Whether you ever trade a logic alert or not, I can't encourage you enough. Use them for the purpose intended. That is to learn to chart. If you trade for a living, you need to know where to expect potential resistance and why, where to expect potential support and why. And based on the last 7+ years, about 20% of the time or less, the market is going to do something other than what you expect. So if you're still chasing that holy grail where you're right 100% of the time, well, that doggone doesn't exist. It can exist by the laws of science, physics, even God. When Adam was created, he wasn't given the ability to change the past or no. And that's where we are today. Now you can guess and be right 50% of the time. But how's that working? Not. Again, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. 2 a.m. Trade around the clock. We have traders globe. Day session is their night session, vice versa. Now, 387 weeks, that's a very long time. Like I said, a little over 7 years. But quite a few years before Logic 247, at our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, and they are different in a lot of different ways. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll simply say they don't come out around the clock. Posted as a static report shortly before the Globex Open each evening. Monday session that we're in right now started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. But all of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before market. Now, this Monday session that we're in will end today at 5 p.m. Eastern. 1 hour break tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. That will be the Tuesday session. And God willing, CTAs will be published this afternoon at 5:55 p.m. Eastern. Each night, CTAs go out. We cover the S&P 500, Dow, the Russell, oil, the NQ, silver. You'll notice that there's a long and short target each market. This is so you don't have to worry your pretty little head about, is the market going to go up or is the market? You build a business plan whenever the market is up, and then when it does it, ready. So let's take a look at the bellwether S&P 500. After quite a rally on Friday, we barely took out this high here. Things have turned south. Notice that the black step line is starting to right, and as that crosses blue and climbing, which it's directly above right now, that's when we look for retracement back to the BBC. See, green line. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. It stands for bull cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we should expect prices. Now, in a situation like this, every one of these candles is touching the green line. So this leg and retracement back hill. Send us up, not to a new all-time historic high. That's over here. All-time historic high. The S&P 500 just off the market contract is 70.14. All-time historic closing high 69.5. It's close. This day we closed at 84.5. This day we closed 5.5. Failed to take out, or we failed to close higher. Missed it by 1. Now we came back to challenge the area. Here we closed at 69.80. Now right here we put in a higher intraday. Right at that 50% fib extension. Price right now is headed for the 8% extension. Just get a bullish cross to higher prices. So the higher prices come, we may very well see price come down, tap, see, bounce. Some would look at this and say that's kind of a triple top. It kind of is. Some wicks sticking the upside. It's actually bear. So we'll see what the coming days bring. Time will in front of us. All alerts, both the Logic 247 and the Concierge Trade alerts, are created on the chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago. And vertical lines separate today, Monday, Friday. Here would be December 23rd, Christmas Eve. This was the opening candle last night. Horizontal lines, those are the trading zones. Now, the weekly trading zones are published every Monday morning. Last 16 years. Come out at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, carved in stone, change in any way whatsoever. Now, because the new zones come out Monday morning, all alerts that go out on Sunday night are obviously based on last week's zones. Once the new zones come out, as they did this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, any alerts that go out for the rest of the week, Logic alerts and the Concierge Trade alerts, will be based on the opened and the ES. I'm sure a lot of people were looking at the gap. I certainly took it into consideration. See the high, which became nowhere near, headed south. Once price got below the BBC, retracement, that's how price moves. Leg and a retracement. And on that retracement, back hill. Which gave us another leg and a retracement. Got another leg, retracement, and a leg that took us all the way to the CTA short target Now remember, all of our traders had these targets. 5 minutes, market open last night. Currently have found support at last week's zone 69.38/9. The highest zone last week was 70.55/56. So we're sitting here at 69.38. Right below, we got a bullish cross. Now, when you have a bullish cross, that's when the blue line gets above the green line that leads to an extended move. First time price revisits that area will almost always be support, at least the first time down. Which leads me to think is these areas have sort of a magnetic attraction. That would put the ES down around 069, 69. And we're very close to the lowest weekly zone on most. And if we have a turnaround Tuesday, that remains to be seen. But again, zone issued last Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, all of these zones. Still doing its job. When price drops to a zone, expect support. Otherwise, price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance. Till on the Dow. This where we opened last night. We attempted to move higher. Now we managed to take out this high by just a little bit, but we didn't close above it. That's bearish. That sent price back to the BBC. Timing turned falling. Consolidated. Below the BBC or above the BBC. That's just indecision. Difficult trade. And we broke loose. This morning, ahead of the Wall Street Open. Wall Street Open right here. Typically, that's the largest candle of the day. Down we go. This zone from last week, see, was support. Righty. And that bounced us up to the BBC. Black Hill. That sent us all the way down to the short target. Got a little bounce. Hit the zone. 8690/95. Now on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones. Because again, everything that goes out after Monday 6:15 Eastern are based on the zones. Now, as you can see, the black step line is starting to right. Black step line crosses red and falling. We typically see a retracement back to the BBC. That looks like a long way. And again, price drops faster than it rises. It takes financial commitment for price to rise. Price to fall, all it takes is for the institutional traders. Pause on the buy side, just drops. Found support. Zone published, or currently we've support at last week's zone, just like we did way over here. Christmas Eve. Now, if the step line crosses red and falling, retracement back to the BBC. Then it becomes a matter of back hold or not. We holds more often than not, but we also know actually it goes through. That's how market on the Russell. So we opened last night. Initially made run higher, but we didn't quite make it up to that bearish cross. Just above this a high there around 556.9. Then, kind of like on the Dow, we're above, we're below, we're above, we're below. The market really has no direction. This morning at 7 o'clock, it really. Now we go to this zone this week where we consolidated, reached down, tagged the short target, bounced back to the BBC. We had a green candle all. Gotta wait for the candle to close. Imagine how many people, without the benefit of the zones, without the benefit of the. Imagine at 9:30 on the Wall Street Open, this massive green candle. Everybody says we're going. This is a little closer to Earth, right here. Now on Russell, the step line has crossed red and falling. Down support at the zone from last week, 2/33. So we should see a push back up to the BBC. Now, depending upon how much time it takes to get there, and if in fact we do get there, a little more sideways consolidation, and the BBC is going to drop. And when we trade through a short or long CTA target on the retracement, in this instance, underside that short target can become good resistance. So that would make this area here actually good resistance. Again, it depends on how long it takes. Maybe we consolidate a candle or two. Remember, 30-minute candle. Consolidate sideways, then the BBC will drop line with the short target, and then that would be resistance times 2. Reasons why the market might reverse course and head back down to this area of support. On the NQ, so we opened last night. This zone last week, 25.840/41, gave us a little bounce up to the BBC, and that quickly failed. Back to the zone, we're consolidated. Price encounters a weekly trading zone. 70% of the time you get consolidation. 20% of the time you get rejection. 10% of the time the slice. This one, a 30-minute candle slices through a zone, not even there. That happens, that move runs out of steam, price will typically trace back to the zone and slice through, continue in the direction of the slice. Continue down, and again, we had another slice that took us right to the short target. Right back up to the zone. Then we continued all the way to the BBC. That's the 9:30 candle, where again we had a huge green candle. By the time 10 o'clock rolled around, back at that zone. And where are we now? Well, found some support at the short target. Step line has crossed, but it doesn't look normal. See, on this cross here, we didn't get the pull back to the BBC. That's unusual. This whole holiday trade thing, it's difficult each and every year. If you're having issues, if you're having problems this week, it might not be a bad week to just kind of going into the end of the year. You have a lot of people trading, normally or at their day job. But they got accounts and they got money in their accounts, and so they're taking their shots. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing, but they're trading. And want to be traders, but have this day job, so they don't get too many opportunities. And so the market doesn't follow the same basic rules, principles when you have so many retail traders involved in the mix. It's fairly simple when you know how to read a chart to anticipate what professional traders, institutional traders are going to do under any given set of circumstances. Not true when you have a whole lot of retail. Did find support at the short target. Trying to work our way back to the BBC. Got potential resistance overhead right here. This zone. Make it. Let's see. Remember. A. Street. Oil. We talked about earlier the reason for the rally. Looks like this where we opened last week or last night. We ran up zone, hit the BBC, dropped the blue and climbing. Right here, got a bullish cross. That's when the blue is above the green line. So we had a leg and a retracement. Back held. Leg and a retracement. Then right here, the step line crossed. Price tried to go higher. Climbing gets directly above price. Here, got the step line in blue and climbing. They're running parallel to each other. Once that step line crosses, price will typically retrace right back to the BBC. In this case, it rolls sideways. Blue and climbing got directly above, and that becomes potential resistance. It's usually on its way to become red and falling when it happens. It's obviously bullish. It's obviously. So, price is trying to get to the BBC. Question is, will it hold or not? Technical traders, but there's a lot of fundamental things happening in the that. So, but we just keep doing what we do every day, and trade what. Probably the biggest down day in gold I've ever seen. Opened last night. We almost hit the long target. 30 minutes. Got the 81 points. Just it by a bit. This high right here, as you can see, a line. It's high. Get below the BBC, and we make a fast drop. Short target. Hit the zone. Support. Bounces us up to the BBC. Back holds. Sends us back down to the zone. Consolidate for a bit. Sell off down to last week's zone at 4/16. Actually below this week's lowest weekly trading zone by quite a bit. Now, and a long-standing thing that whenever that happens by a Tuesday morning, you hit the highest or lowest weekly zone. By the end of the week, price will often be at the other side or other spectrum. Is that going to happen this week? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Step line has crossed red and falling. Now the question is, in last week's zones, see this week's zones, right at the BBC, or will be at the BBC if we catch this rally off the support. Step line is crossed. Michael's here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, and then do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. I'll come back, wrap things up. Is it out?
All right. Is this updated again?
All right, looks good.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 29th day of December, 2025. 29th day. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right there. There is no credit card required for the trial. You click on that purple button, it's going to bring you to this page, where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. Now, we had a guy that took the trial at like midnight last night, and he didn't show up this morning, but he took the trial at midnight last night, and that is going to give him until next Friday on the trial. So if you're going to take the trial, now's the time to do it, because you have all of this week and pretty much all of next week on the trial. So yes, do that if you want to take the trial. Right, now's the time. To recap, now our day didn't start off great. It didn't end great, but it was okay. It was just okay. Let me make that green the way it's supposed to be. All right. Well, actually, on that day, I'm going to make it white because we didn't do anything. Set. Yeah, the 23rd, we didn't do anything. 19 minutes we had, and we didn't place a single trade. I don't know if today's going to be the same way, but it could be. This morning, for us, though, in the room this morning, well, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. I think I said that already. But the 29th day of December, 2025, we're up 59 ticks on the NQ, 3 ticks on the YM. We traded crude instead of gold because gold had too much of a spread, and we ended up being -7 on crude. And we're -9 on the ES, so we're only at 127.50 on the morning session. That's our worst morning of the month. It's our worst morning in a really long time, I think. Today it took 40 minutes and 15 trades to get to $250 a contract, or $2,500 with 10 contracts on. And we took a total of 27 trades this morning, and we had 6 stop outs. So we were only at 77.78% of our trades were break even or better. That's our worst day of the month, and it's our lowest day of the month as far as profit goes. It didn't seem like it started out that bad. I mean, I know it took 40 minutes and 15 trades, but I wasn't able to trade gold at all because the gold was just had a 4 or 5 tick spread right at the very beginning, so I just didn't even bother. Anyway, on the month now, we're at $24,272 over 18 trading days, averaging $1,348 per day. Now, that is where I wanted to be by the end of the year. On well, this $1,200, more than $1,200 is where I wanted to be by the end of the year. Now, we only have 1 day left. I know I'm not going to screw that up tomorrow. This one over here, though, that one did get kind of screwed up. I'll get into that in just a second. But so on the year now, we're at $277,730. $277,730. Pretty close. If I had another month, I think we could have gotten it up to 300. But well, I don't know if you put together all the days that I ended up taking off this year with the funerals and everything else, funerals and birthdays and all that. It might have been that month. Pretty close. Anyway, if you throw in the holidays, we averaged $1,251.04 on the year so far, and doing 24/20 blueprints so far this year, you'd have worked 31.6 hours. If you did everything exactly like I did and quit trading when you got the goal for the day and added 1 contract per month, you'd be at 12 contracts right now, and you'd be up $234,654. Okay, averaging $7,410.13. Now, we did get above that at one point, but we had today and last Monday got us back down below it. So what it's going to take tomorrow is this number needs to be 3,500 and this number here needs to be pretty small. So this be 3,500 and I think I got to do it in 5 minutes or so. And that will get us back up above it. That's about it. 3,500 in 5 minutes will get us back up above that. That's what I got to do tomorrow. I doubt that's going to happen. So I think we're going to end the year below this level. So that'll be the number to beat next year. And we'll do it all over again. That'll be the number to beat next year. I expect we're going to have a volatile year again next year. I think it's going to be equally as volatile. I mean, we're wrapping the year up this year. Right now, we're at 24,272. And of all the months, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 7th out of the 12 months. It's our 7th highest month out of the 12 months. And I believe we had quite a few days off this month. I think by the end of the month, we're going to have 4 or 6, something like that. Because we're not trading. Last week we didn't, because of the holidays. We're going to have 18 days still. We'll still have 19 full days of trading. I don't know. Anyway, that's the way it stands. So let's get into the trades here. The ones that we did do on the gold. Well, yeah. Okay. This isn't gold. Sorry. This is crude oil. I took this trade here on crude and we ended up with +3 on the first trade. That wasn't really a valid trade though. I just had the order on. I left it there. It was this up close right here. And put 3 ticks on that. Then we took this one right here and we stopped out -10. Now the crude is on a 4-tick range. Okay, so stop goes to break even after 4 ticks. It's got an 8-tick stop. So actually, I wasn't actually down that bad. This wasn't a 10-tick stop. This was an 8-tick stop. So I'm actually only -5 on crude. So I got to fix that in the spreadsheet. Do that. This was actually -5. I forgot I had an 8-tick stop and not a 10-tick stop. So I was up 147.50. Woo. And that was the crude. Now during the break, it looks like it didn't do anything. Had one long trade right there that would have been a break even, and that's it. Okay, so the crude is slowed down. We gotta go back to gold on this. Let's just go back to GC and see what that looks like. No, why is it not doing that? GC1, it should give me GC and give me the option. Go there. Okay. I don't know what the DOM looks like, but we'll check it out in a minute. Okay, and then we get to the YM. Now the YM today, we were back and forth a little bit. We ended up just about a break even on the YM. All right, so we started off here with a +2 on that one. Then we stopped out. That put us at -13 overall. Then we picked up 1, got us to -12. 2 got us to -10. Then 2 to -8. 5 to -3. Then finally we had a nice trade, 20. I think that was almost our biggest trade. 20 there got us to +17. And we stopped out and went back down to 2 and 1 more to 3. And that was it. And I don't see a whole lot happening there during the break. The ES now. Let's take a look at that guy. Here we are on the ES. Our first trade on the ES, we picked up 1 tick, and then we had this one over here. We stopped out -10. That put us at -9 overall. During the break, we didn't have anything. Okay, and the NQ. The NQ is the one that saved us today. So let me hit control back on that guy. All right, here we go. On the NQ, our first trade here, we picked up 4 ticks. And then we picked up another 4 to get us to 8. Then we stopped out, put us at -17. And then we picked up, I guess, 12 there to get us to -5. Then all the way over here, another 12 there to get us to +7. then 4 to 11. And we went from 11 to 15, so it was 4 on that one. And then this is where I actually got the goal for the day. I took a trade here, and it gave me 4 ticks right away. I'm not sure if it was here or here. It must have been it. This must have been it. I took a trade and it gave me 4 ticks right away, but I wanted to jump back into it because I thought it was going to go down. So I did jump right back into it. So I took 4 ticks on the first one and then 45 ticks on the second one. That's where we got the goal for the day on that right there. And so after the first one, we went from 19 to 64 to 69 overall between those. They were at 69 after that, and then from 69 to 72 there. And then it doesn't look like I entered these 2 in because I have my next one as a stop out. We went from 72 down to 47. Then I went from 47 to 59. Yeah, I didn't enter these 2 wins in there. So whatever these 2 wins were, I didn't enter those in. And from here we stopped out down to 47, went from 47 to 59. That was the last trade I entered on the NQ. So I missed those 2 wins, whatever they were. That's good. That's encouraging. And that's it. That was it for the morning session. So I'm not going to go into all the trades that I missed. I'm just going to try to get in there and maybe take some trades. Now I got to switch my DOMs around though. And we have the question box. Joe, are you in here right now? E, F, G, H, I, J. A different Joe. How about that? Michael that took the trial last night. He is not in here either. Okay. I got to switch my DOM around. Put it back to gold and see what gold actually looks like. Give me just a sec. Gold is on the comics. Is G. Okay, apply. Okay. Yeah, gold still kind of has a spread. It's not as bad as it was this morning, but you see there's still gaps in there and it's going all over the place. It won't be the easiest thing to trade, but let me I am also going to have to flip it back to a 9 range and put my 9 range thing on here. Okay, let me check and see if that goes to break even. It does. Okay. All right. So I have gold set to trade again. I don't see any questions in here at this point. I wanted to point out something that I did. Go ahead. Joe B emailed me a few minutes ago, or texted me a few minutes ago. It said I would go and get something for him. All right. I guess I didn't do that. I'll have to do it later. So let's get in there and trade what we can. It is now 1:13.5. So we'll say we have 16 minutes left. Let's just go put a 16 in that column right here. 16 minutes. And we'll see if we get any trades. That's what I was told about gold. It was still gapping around even after I stopped looking at it. So the alternative I went to was crude oil, which wasn't gapping, but it wasn't really moving anymore either. All right, so we don't have trades anywhere right at the moment. Not anywhere. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button and bring you to the registration page. Just fill out the form. Okay. See that part. And we have 16 minutes to try to get some trades off here. Okay, and the down close there on gold, right? Crap, the down close there on gold right now would be a short. Okay, down close on gold would still be a short. And I'm not sure my Dom kept up with that. but there was the trade right there. And I think it gave me one tick. It should have given me one tick. I don't know if it actually did. It actually did. It filled me at 47.2, but it gave me 47.2 to 47.1. So it slipped from the original fill spot. But it gave me the one tick right there. So the entry was horrible, but it still managed to give me just one tick. So one tick. Our first trade on gold and one tick. It's better than it was on last week when we had no trades at all. Okay, that was also a trade right there. And this one, again, a horrible fill, but a minute. And I'm gonna lock in 5. And I don't know what I got out of that. Looks like I got 10 or so. Hang on. Let's go see. I didn't get 10. I got 9. I'll show you that. Again, a horrible fill. And from 8.9 up to 9.8. So look at there. It's $1,000. And up close right now would also be a trade. So, and I made it again, and it just gave me one tick on that one. I think it gave me one tick. It did give me one tick. And my stop goes to break even plus a tick automatically after 5 ticks. I'm thinking I would make good break even plus 5 ticks. The way it's jumping around right now. But I'll show you that one too. Again, it was a horrible fill. So the fills are just awful on these things. And it's the gap that's bringing my stops. 9.4 to 9.5. So 3 trades, 11 ticks. Nothing else is given a trade yet. But those are awful though. What's that one? That was right here. The fill wasn't that bad on that one. Okay, but this one, the fill was horrible. It was supposed to be 8.3. I think it filled me up here somewhere. It did 8.9, I think, or 8.8. It was 8.9 to 9.8, so it filled me all the way up here. That one. Oh, that's why it's on a 4 range. Duh. You guys didn't catch that. All right. Well, we'll go back to a 9 range on the gold. So I don't know what the heck was going on with all that. Okay, so the chart's back to a 9 range on the gold. And we probably won't get as many trades now. The fills will probably still be just as bad, though. God, why didn't I put that together, man? Man, I get rusty over Christmas. All right. Did I see Bart in here? I did not see Bart in here. I didn't see him in the last one either, I don't think. Could have a well-being check done on Bart. He's married. Still a well-being check done for him. All right, on the gold, we need a down close. There it is. An up close isn't going to be close enough. All these other ones, we don't have a single trade. Not yet. But on gold, we're at plus 11 now. tempted to go back to the 4-tick range and trade it like it's a 9-tick range. Oops. Let's be a 19. All right, well, it's 120, so those first 4 minutes got us $1,100. Let's put it in right now. Today is 12/29. And on gold right now we have 11 ticks. And we have 1, 2, 3 trades and 0 stops. Okay. So copy that down to there. And this should all be green. Okay, that's where we stand. So this would go to, we had no trades at all on that day, so I'm not going to count that one. So let's go to 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 20, 21 actually. Let me just leave this one. 1, 2. I think there was a reason why I didn't have that. There was something that happened in here somewhere. One row didn't get counted. Well, anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21. I know there's a reason that I have it the way it is. It's 26, 8. What does that do? That's 377 down to 405. So that does have all the days in it. I was only doing 19 on that. I don't remember. It's actually 21. Okay. Back here. We didn't miss any trades while I was figuring that out. And nothing. Okay. That wasn't a trade there because it didn't come out of the overbought. This is not going to be a trade here because when it comes out of the overbought, if it does come out of the overbought on this part, it won't be near the midpoint. Mm-hmm. All right. So we now have 5.5 minutes left. This one right there on the gold. Well, a little late to this show, but we're going to lock in 5 ticks on it. So I was going for 10, but it came right down and took me out at 5. All right, it's got another one setting up right here, though, so get ready for it. Need the up close. There it is. And wow, that one just went all the way up and gave me all 30, I think. All right, I'll show you the print in a second. But hang on, we got 5 on the first one. Let me go look at the print and see what we actually got on it. That gave me 25. So, I'll show you the print on both of those last two. Here we went from 9.6 up to 9.3. So we got 7 on that one. And then went from 9.1 to 2.6. So that's 35. 7 and 35. Instead of the 42, add it on to 11, so it's 53. Now that's 5 trades. So this has turned out to be a good session. That gap up right there was huge. All right, and now we have 3.5 minutes left. This was just a trade here I didn't get. My stop would have gone to +1 tick right now, I think. It definitely would have gone +1 tick. Maybe I should have traded gold this morning. And the gap's not, I guess the gap is kind of bad still. It's not consistently bad. And this morning it was consistently 4 or 5 ticks, but right there you see it's just 2 or 3. Now, if I go to a larger time frame, it's still going to have the same gap, but my stop will be bigger, so it'll be a smaller percentage of the stop gets lost in the spread. That's the only difference, in case you guys were thinking about that. I'm still going to have the same spread. Going to a larger time frame doesn't change the DOM. It just changes the amount of risk I put on a trade. But since those 5 trades were my first gold trades today, and they all were profitable trades, I think I'm just going to be happy with what I got. Get up to 53, right? Yeah, that's right. And we have 2 minutes left. So I could go the next 2 minutes and not place a trade and be perfectly happy right now. But the yes looks like it's going to give us one. So get ready on the yes. And I'll close here on the yes to be a long trade. Okay, get ready for it. There it is. And I'm in. Here it is. And on the morning session, we're -9 ticks on 3 trades on the yes. So right now we have 1 trade. Time for 1 trade. And we'll see what happens with it here. The gold could give us another one here. The gold's got to close up and then close down. I don't think we're going to get anything out of gold. Wait, it's pretty close right there. It is pretty close right there. It did close up and then it closed down, but it didn't quite make it right there. It didn't make it down to the midpoint. Oops, I just lost my yes now. Hang on a second. Find that thing. Here it is. Put that window on top. And 949. We were so close to 7,000 this morning. Well, I said by the end of the year. So we have tomorrow and Wednesday to get to 7,000. And the option expiration is until January 9th. So we actually have all the way to January 9th to get up above, and it was the 695s SPYs that I was talking about. So we go out there. Put it out here. So it was the 695 SPYs that I was talking about last week or the week before. I think it was the week before. So right up here is what it's going to get up above the SPY by the end of the day on by the end of the day on the 9th. It's going to get up above there, and actually to make any money on it from where the cost was intrinsically, it would have to get up above 698 to make any money. Right now, if it got up to here, tomorrow or the next day, or even today or the next day, you would be in the money anyway. Okay, even without having the intrinsic value above being above the strike price. Gold gave another long trade over here. Waiting on the ES right now. It's 131, and we're waiting on the ES to do something. I may just bail out of it here and break even. Because there's no sense stretching this out. Move my stop to break even. I'll go to +1, and we're out with +1 on the ES. All right, so that's how we'll wrap it up for today. One tick on the ES. Where is that guy? Right here. One on the ES. So that makes this 6 trades. 6 trades, 0 stop outs today, and $5,425 with 10 contracts, or $542 with 1 contract. So this has been way better than my morning session was these last 16 minutes. And that's how we're going to wrap it up. So if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right there. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on the purple button, and it's going to bring you to the registration page. Fill it out. Again, if you fill out this registration page today or tomorrow, you'll get all the way till today, tomorrow, or the next day. You'll get all the way until the 9th on the trial. Okay. All right. That is it, guys. With that, I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent.
Okay. Recap of the session.
Today, it took 40 minutes and 15 trades to get to $2,500 a contract.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we're going to be here Wednesday or not?
I don't think so. I don't really want to trade this stuff. No 10 contracts on Wednesday.
All right, guys. We left off with gold. See, the step line has crossed, and we're finding support at last week's zone. We're currently below 2 weeks. We're already below the new week's lowest weekly zone. This is a sell-off in gold, and it has to do with the CME margins. A lot of people had to sell out of positions, and that downward pressure on price. Silver. So, we're in a position to potentially catch a rally back to the BBC. However, we know the back holes not. So, just have to be patient and see what the market does. Last market, silver. This is where we opened last night. And the all-time historic high at 82.67. $70.26. It's quite a fall from this. Almost to the lows received December 25th. And happens from here? Time. Let's pull back right here. Held. Price were to somehow get through the C. Got this zone overhead this week. Right here. It's definitely resistance. Cross. Red line gets below the green line, leads to an extended move. First time price revisits the area. It's always resistance. At least the first time up. So here's where we stand, ES on the daily chart. Right at the black step line, we've traded below it. Bounced a little bit off the low. Talked earlier about the step line crossing red and falling. Expect a retracement. See, that has come to pass since the beginning. Dow is in the process of doing the same thing. Russell in the process of attempting the same thing. You, same thing. That's just how it works. Now, price is pinched on, sitting on top of support. See, got red and falling overhead. That's resistance. Actually, we've got two levels of resistance. The black step line, then red and falling. This area right here, about 58. Got this little triple top right across the top. And then, if price were to get there, got this bearish cross at 58. Now, price doesn't get there today, that remains valid until price touches it. Today, a week, a decade. And that is history. That's never going to change. So whenever it turns to that level, expect resistance the first time up. Still trying to put together that rally back to the BC. Silver just starting. Got the cross. Red and falling, got below price, acted as support. So now you got support here, you got resistance here. And then here, and then the underside of this short target. That is the deal. All right, become a member. Go to become a member. Email Valerie, support@cf.net. Let her know you would like to become a member. She'll send you all the information you need. Signed up, you become a member. You'll have 2 hours of live training every. It's an interactive environment. On top of the 2 hours of live training each day, you have access to private one-on-one mentoring. No extra charge. All you got to do is ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder. It's all markets and all stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs. It doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all. Support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. That's why it's important that you learn to read a chart so you know where to anticipate support. Anticipate resistance. That's the Logic 247 alerts. As a passport holder, you'll also get the concierge trade alerts. The second, they're published each evening. 5 minutes ahead of the open. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get trading zones. Once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. It happens. Once they're published. And you're able to attend the workshop every Thursday night, but of course, with the holiday coming, we have one this Thursday night. It's Thursday. And you get the golden keys that opens all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs. All under one roof. Just email Valerie. support@CFRN. Wrap it up with her. Giving your children. Psalm 144:12. May our sons flourish. May our daughters be graceful. Constantly tell your children, loved, valuable, and capable. Otherwise, their self-evaluation will be based on their worst qualities and perceptions rather than their best ones. Psychologists say that some of the world's most successful people suffer from imposter syndrome. Interviewed, these people often express deep self-doubt, saying they don't feel worthy of the position they hold or the high opinion others have of them. Where did that begin? At home. Often this self-concept is formed when a child has no clear sense of identity and feels unattractive, unintelligent, or useless. That's when you as a parent need to speak into their life with wisdom and love. Reassure them that this season is just a short-term experience, like traveling through a tunnel from which they will certainly be the one who helps them understand the emotional and physical changes that come with adolescence. Talk openly about the sexual awakening that's about to occur, how to navigate it responsibly, and not to do so is to leave them hoping alone with questions they yet have an answer to. Yes, discipline and instruction are part of your role, but if your child constantly feels like you're on their back instead of on their team, they may lose confidence and initiative. Struggling to develop a healthy self-concept. And if your own parents fail to speak this way into your life, ask God to help break that cycle for the child's sake. Psalmist David offers a beautiful prayer blessing. Psalm 144:12. May our sons flourish in their youth, well plants. May our daughters be like graceful pillars carved. That's a good word. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you. His mercy. I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.